I am close to you,
first so I can just get
feeling your heart beating, and I'm wondering what you're feeling, wondering if it's me you're seeing. And when I kiss your eyes, I thank God we're together. 'Cause I miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing. Even when I dream of you, oh, the sweetest dream I never do. I still miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. I don't wanna miss one spot. I went right for the freaking bridge.
You went to the bridge.
Yeah, I like jumped way ahead.
Dude, Thane put his glasses down. He was so touched.
He was like,
I
what?
was trying to do thumbnail picture.
How dare they, everybody? How dare they? How dare they not make Super Mario Galaxy Game of the Year for 2023? I'm literally livid. I'm very, very angry. Geoff Keighley, I hate you.
Remember people in the chat were unironically saying Spider-Man 2 Game of the Year. It's like, you capping.
And that was the top Twitter comment that Cole just read.
Yeah. That's a donkey joke right there. How dare they not make Super Mario Brothers 2 Game of the Year?
This is a show we do called Talking Rad, and this is episode 190. And today it's the big Game Awards episode where we talk about the Game Awards.
It's funny, I shouldn't care this much, but so it's like always like, hey, it's the Game Awards.
I think it's a fun thing, and I think people take it way too seriously.
Yeah, I see people online like, how come it doesn't win this year? Like, dude, it's all rigged. It's been rigged for years.
Yeah, I was actually gonna bring that up. I'm convinced it's rigged.
Yeah, like there's no like,
and like, I don't even think it's a rigged in people paying off Geoff Keighley. I think it's Geoff Keighley just picking whatever he likes better.
Yeah, it's true. He's
like, it's literally just him. Just being all like,
he's probably part of the voting committee.
What is the votes? Do the votes even go towards anything, or is it just
I think
to
it's
see
like,
what the public votes?
There is a public voted Game of the Year.
Vote.
So like, there's not even like. In the award show, there's a People's Choice Game of the Year, and then the actual Game of the Year.
Yeah. Okay, I missed that part. Were they the same? Was it Baldur's Gate?
Oh yeah. It was for this year anyway. I don't know what it was last year.
But the votes on the website do contribute. I think it's like 70-30, like 70.
Regardless,
30,
it's dumb.
Yeah.
Geoff Keighley's got a too big of a wiener, and we need to shave it off a little bit. And I'm very jealous of his wiener.
It's pretty much just E3 in the wintertime. Like it's basically like, hey, here's some Game Awards. Also, here's a bunch of advertisements.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people, like I've seen a lot of YouTubers that I follow on Twitter, and a lot of them just bitch because it's just a big ad.
See, okay, I'm very mixed. I'm very split on this thing right here. I understand that we need to let these developers like say things and stuff, and like be like, I'm very glad like they get a win and stuff like that, and I'm happy for them, and it's cool to hear what they gotta say. But at the same time, I don't want them up there for 10 minutes talking. You know
what happens when gamers talk?
They make a podcast.
Yeah.
190 episodes in, and they're still talking. They don't shut them up.
Yeah, they get really awkward
But like for real though, like I saw some people, a handful of people saying all like, why are we just focusing on the ads? Why don't we let the developers actually like say things for longer than 30 seconds? In my mind, I don't want them up longer than 3 minutes. So 3 minutes is perfect. Like, they probably got a lot of people to thank, but like, let's be honest. And like, come on. I know you care, but do you really care?
Even the team that won Baldur's Gate, the guy that went up there from Larian, he's like, sit back, everyone, because I've got 1,000 people I want to thank. And
did he actually say that?
Yeah, he said that, but it was just a joke.
It was a joke.
Like, I'm with you though. Like, their games should speak for them. You know what I mean?
Totally. I guess.
What are they gonna say? Like, thank you?
Yeah. So I saw on Twitter someone was like holding up their phone recording, and then they looked back, and there was a countdown timer Like
Oh,
saying,
really?
This is when you should wrap it up.
Perfect. That's what
Yeah.
they should do. That's literally a needed thing, in my opinion.
I feel like in lots of shows that abide by a schedule, that's how it goes.
Has to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is how much time you have to speak.
3 hours is already long enough. Trim it. Get rid of the stuff we don't care about.
Yeah.
We don't need to see 4 different ads for Fortnite. We get it. Fortnite
Yeah.
isn't a thing that exists. We don't need 4 ads.
Honestly, you don't need Game Awards to advertise that stuff. Literally, they just make a tweet. Everyone talks about it.
Like, you're making money. Like, you don't need it. Like, it makes me mad. The Fortnite one kind of set me off. I'm not gonna lie. Fortnite's fine. Whatever. I don't care. Fortnite's chill. There's Legos and stuff. It's
I
cool.
don't get why
but
you have to advertise Fortnite.
We don't. Well, it's fine to even do one advertisement. We don't need 4 separate advertisements. Don't make a slot big enough for them to purchase that. It's not like you're hurting for money, Mr. Keighley, and your award show. Just don't make that an option for people to pay for that ad slot. Just
my hot
cut
take
down
on
the
it?
ad slots.
I think it's fine because the ads pay for the show. I think the shows are incredibly expensive, and it's free.
Okay, so here's my big issue with that. Yes, this is how they make their money is with the ads, but they also do like these world premiere ads. Those people are paying to get their ads there too.
Yeah.
That's what they should focus on. That's like if they want to make it an actual like exciting thing, don't put probably 25 to 30 minutes of advertisements that don't mean anything to what's actually happening.
That's true.
It wasn't like we're revealing this Fortnite thing. It's literally just, look, there's Fortnite. We've already seen this.
Go play Fortnite.
We've seen this for weeks. And there's 4 of those.
Yeah.
And that's like, I get it. I get ads pay for it. But we already have all these more interesting ads that people are much more willing to watch. Maybe up that price and shorten the show. That's my hot take.
Yeah.
I don't care enough of the Game Awards to begin with. To sit there for 3 hours, that was brutal. I was like playing Pokemon on the side. I'm like, I'm not doing this, Jeff. I'm not.
I guess you didn't have to watch it.
See, that was going to be my other argument is...
I know, but Thane made me feel obligated to. And then I find out Skylar didn't even watch it. And I was like, F me, dude. I should just freaking sat my thumb.
I kind of felt bad for that. It's like, well, if Skylar didn't even watch it, then
Hey, I combed through it. I watched through some of the important bits.
I would have only watched the stuff I care about, which was just the ads for Persona 3 Reload, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Metaphor Re-Fantasio. It's the Persona game that they're making. And the Sega stuff was cool, and that's probably it, because Apex and Final Fantasy, I guess. Other than that, there's 5 things I care about. Could have gotten that done in 10 minutes and been happy. I don't care about the awards either. So
my hot take on the Game Awards, I think it's very well done. I think it's a lot of fun for gamers. I think people give it way too much weight. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
This year was brutal for me too, because I know there's so many games out there, and they're like, people are claiming or starting to say things like 2023 is one of the best years for games we've ever had in a long time. And I'm over here like, I played Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know, dude. It just didn't do it for me. It wasn't a year for me, I guess, for lack of a better explanation. And so even more so I didn't care about the awards.
This year for me, like, I look at this year and the amount of bops we've gotten, I think it's incredible.
And I'm not saying it's not, but for me, I didn't care.
Right. The whole thing is subjective.
Yeah,
All of it's
exactly.
subjective.
What's funny is even though I played Tears of the Kingdom, I think I called it Breath of the Wild a second ago. Even though I played Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though I played Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't really care that it didn't win, because I was just all like, it was a good game, probably one of the greater games that's been made, but I played Breath of the Wild, and the sandbox is better. That's about it.
That's a hot take.
Oh, I mean, okay. I mean, we don't need to get into this,
Sure,
but
that's
the difference from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is basically the sandbox, I would argue. I would sure, there's plenty of other smaller things, like the world is much more lived in, and which is really cool, for example. But as just to wrap up this quick topic on a bow, it's basically Breath of the Wild but with a better sandbox.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I think there's way more to it than that, but I understand where you're coming from.
I played 2 hours of Baldur's Gate. I liked it. I liked what I played.
Did you have sex yet?
No.
You didn't do the
that's
speed run
reward.
sex? The
I would have
sex speed run?
sped sexed.
It's kind of hard to speed sex since it wants you to
Oh,
actually...
I'm quick. I'm like 5 seconds.
Well, this game will actually... Hey, maybe you should play the game. Actually play our game, and then you can have sex. There's this one...
It's not fast enough. Then you gotta get quick.
There's this one half-elf chick.
In
Her
and
name
out.
is Shadowheart. It's like,
One
I
pump
like
jump.
her. I want her. I want her. I don't want the ugly other elf chick. Sorry.
Oh, these are
Clunk.
just like those games that I like to dabble in occasionally. Then, where it's like you gotta work for it,
Yeah.
and it's more satisfying.
Yeah.
Gosh, hate video games.
I think going back to the Game Awards too, to me, how I see the Game Awards is no different than like a Nintendo Direct. It comes every year. Nintendo Directs happen very more frequently than the Game Awards, and everybody bitches no matter what.
Yeah, oh yeah,
They could get
yeah.
everything that they ever want, and they'd be like, "Yeah, that was
Totally.
bad."
But my comparison or my opinion on that is that at least the Nintendo Direct is pretty bump.
Sure, yeah, it is. But that's what it is. The Game Awards it's like a
They're trying to do the Grammys.
yeah, it's
or
a
the
show.
Emmys or whatever.
They're trying
The
to make it
Oscars.
entertaining.
Oscars, thank you. That's what it is.
Yeah, like the Oscars. They're trying to make it entertaining. And when it comes down to it, like, gamers are a hard crowd to please. I don't know why.
I'm fine with the Game Awards. I enjoyed it, except for all those extra ads that I had to watch. I didn't care about that.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
rough.
wanted to watch the ads that were for new things. And I think that's what they should focus on if that's what they're trying to do anyway. It's clear that that's kind of what they're going for. They're trying to be an E3 plus these awards.
I have a feeling this was shorter a few years ago, but maybe I don't know. Like,
And see, like, the other weird part about it to me is, like, the pre-show had a bunch of new things that were revealed there. Why not just put those in the actual show and get rid of 4 Fortnite ads?
Because money.
that's
money.
true.
I guess,
Front
dude.
load it with
was literally
ads,
the
I
like-
guarantee you, Epic Games paid a shitload of money.
No,
to
no
have those
doubt.
ads there.
No doubt. No
It's
doubt.
like I don't need. Also, the
It
worst
just
part
sucks.
is like I don't need vape ads. It's like if you vape, it's game over. It's like I don't care. I
That
already
was one
get
of
that
those.
shit on
rather
Twitch.
would you rather have video game ads or advertisements for products like that?
Video game ads, actual advertising, actual video games. I don't like if you cut those out. Like, hey, you could play Clash Royale on the new fold-out Pixel. It's like I don't care.
It's a game ad, though.
That is a game ad, but it's just advertising the phone, saying, hey, you could play games on this phone. It's like just how about just a regular game? Just like, hey, this game's on mobile. You could play it.
my issue is not that they're ads. My issue is just, like,
There's so many of them.
no, not even that. It's just samey. It doesn't feel like I'm watching a game award show when they're just Fortnite. I'm like, I've seen Fortnite for 10 years now. I don't know. I just
7.
want new
Creativity.
stuff. I want new stuff.
Yeah,
and obviously
I'll
when it
admit.
comes down to, you're not wrong, Sky. It's just gamers complaining. And I'm complaining about something I don't even care about.
Right, that's the other thing too, though.
I'm just saying this is how I would make it better. that
Right,
I would
right.
enjoy it better.
And I think that's totally fine. Once again, I think this whole thing is very subjective. It just comes down to people's opinions.
Yeah.
I find enjoyment maybe not even enjoyment. I just find how interesting people, how upset they get about something like this. When Geoff Keighley he puts this on for fun. Sure, he makes a bunch of money from it because people like us watch.
There was roughly 1 million people watching
Yeah.
across every possible way to watch.
Yeah, and Fortnite paid a lot of money to have that 1 million people see their stuff 4 times.
No doubt. No doubt.
Was
I
it the
agree.
exact same Fortnite ad, or was it 4 different ads? Like let's
one
do
of
a
them was
Lego ad.
one of them was clearly the Lego ad, but the other ones, couldn't tell you if they
I
were.
bet
the
one of
same.
them was a Battle Pass ad.
It was the Rocket League one they had.
Well, it was different because that actually was a different game. And so Fortnite's doing this new thing where they're having games within. It's basically Roblox,
Right, yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so there were some ads that were for those. I wasn't even counting those as Fortnite ads. If we're counting those, it's closer to 6 or 7 Fortnite ads. I was counting literally this is an ad for Fortnite.
Yeah, I remember that too.
It was maybe 3, I guess, because I kind of lumped in the Lego one, but they advertised it as Fortnite, and that one, the other ones didn't even really advertise as Fortnite. It just said, like, find it in Fortnite. And anyway, the actual Fortnite ads, I'm sure they were different. They didn't feel different.
I also remember they had, like, I think just before the Game of the Year award or Best Director, they had an ad for Baldur's Gate 3. It's like, Baldur's Gate 3, look at all these accolades. Special edition coming. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I already knew this. Like, it's nominated for a crap ton of awards. Like, why do I need another advertisement? I get it. Like, buy our game. It's like, yeah,
So
that's what
That
the
one makes
awards are
sense.
for.
That one's
Yeah.
fine, I think, because it is a special edition. I think that's
Yeah.
fine.
Here's the other thing too, just about I guess my thoughts on this whole advertisement situation thing. I'm with you guys. I agree. I hate advertisements. I think of it as like a sports game too, though. Sports games are usually 3.5 to 4 hours long. If you cut out the advertisements, you'd probably have 2 hours worth of game. Of course, everybody would be like, "Yeah, I just give me the game. I don't want to watch ads."
But that's the other thing, though. We're gamers. We like ads. We're stupid. We sit down for 40 minutes to watch Nintendo advertise to us, and we love it.
Yeah.
So the problem with this is just the fact that we don't care about these ads. Try to get ads that people actually care about. That's all. That's all.
There's
I'm
lots
saying,
of
I guess.
Fortniters out there that care about those ads. Goes back to the subjectivity.
They do, but do they need 4? I don't think those Fortniters care there's 4. They're probably just jerking off that they saw one of their thing.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, it just goes back to money. So
No, yeah, no doubt. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. 1,000,000%. Like, you're not wrong. I'm just angry about it because I'm a gamer and I'm allowed to be angry about anything.
Yeah.
You know what? I will admit, we got one last reveal. It was actually a game people actually care about.
Oh, they did have one last reveal?
Well, yeah, it was the the Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh, that was their last reveal?
Yeah, that was their last
Oh,
reveal.
I thought you meant like after the Game Awards.
No. It was like that was their last big reveal. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, that's a game people actually
Yeah,
care
people
about.
love Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for people that like
Yeah.
Monster Hunter. I don't like Monster Hunter, but I'm glad those
Yeah.
people do.
I like Monster Hunter. Anyways,
I've never played it.
and
Well- Sorry, go ahead.
I got real excited for when they said God of War Ragnarok free DLC next week, and I was like,
Yeah, what the F, Santa Monica Studio? How dare you give us free content? Angry gamer.
And you said there would be no DLC. You'd be like, no, there's no DLC.
You promised us no DLC.
Like-
Now you're giving us to it for free?
Yeah, it's like, actually made it. It's for free. How dare you, Square Enix, you shadow drop a DLC? That one actually costs money. It's cheap, though. It's like $10.
The other shadow dropped thing was that one game called the
Realms.
The finals.
Finals. Me and my buddies tried to play it. We got into 2 games and didn't actually get into the games. So like I would like spawn in, I could like rotate, and I could look around, but I couldn't move. And all of a sudden, like teleport me like really far forward, and then it'd tell me back. It was bad, and then the game's ended.
I'm gonna have to go look up some gameplay.
I think it's gonna be fun. It just
Yeah.
everybody and their dog was playing it, trying to anyway, so it was
Yeah,
just
like
broken.
The servers were crying.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I don't think the developers anticipated how many people jump on. It's a free-to-play game, and there's a lot of good word
And
of
what else
mouth
are we gonna
from
do?
it.
Watch the Game
Yeah.
Awards?
Yeah. Instead we download this and we just play it if we could. I didn't play it last night. I was like, I'll play it tomorrow. What's great is that it's crossplay, so
Yeah.
some of my friends with no PCs can jump in.
I messed around in the tutorial because that wasn't broken for me because it's by yourself,
Is it a third-person shooter?
first person.
First one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like the destructible houses and stuff. You like pick up bombs and throw them at houses. You completely destroy an entire house. And then like the cool part is like the debris doesn't go away. The debris stays there, so you can climb up on top of the debris and like. It's you know how like you'd think they just disappear because
Yeah.
something breaks and it disappears. Not in this game.
I wonder why Call of Duty's never messed with physics like that.
Too expensive. Too hard to do.
Battlefield has.
So effing cool though. Battlefield. I remember playing Bad Company for the first time. I was like, bro, I can blow up a building and then walk through the hole that I just blew up.
It's probably just too much effort, and so
Yeah.
Call of Duty never bothered.
It's true. They're like, hey, we gotta
Also-
stick to the yearly re-release. So.
Also, it kind of ruins their visions for a map, right? The Call of Duty map formula is three lanes. Well, if you blow up some walls, no more lanes, you know?
Make a fourth lane.
What about
doesn't
the battle
work.
royale though? Because that doesn't even matter at that point.
At that
The
point,
map
you're just
shrinks.
using the same. You're using the same engine. It doesn't have the capabilities of blowing up walls. So
They literally have to program in like a new feature, and
Yeah.
I don't know
Why
how
bother?
taxing that would be on the engine.
That's the answer. You
Also,
guys,
I don't want it to explode any more than
they
it
say
is.
Yeah.
you guys buy our games anyway. Why would we change it?
Yep.
Also, I like how in the finals, they said, well, we want to try to get this to many people. Instead of gore, they instead do the Scott Pilgrim thing where they blow up into coins.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
funny, and you pick up the coins or something, and you go cash. That's how you get your. That seemed like that was the game mode. You first team gets the most amount of money wins or something like that.
Is it similar to like in Call of Duty when you kill confirmed, you kill them and get their dog tag?
I don't know.
You
I
just
didn't get
collect a
that
bunch?
far. I never killed a person in the game. I just saw like the video that it kept showing me where like you'd shoot somebody and they blow up into coins. The guy would run up and pick them up. I didn't actually see like. It looked like the coins like spread around on the floor and you just walk over and suck them all up your butt. Just your butt does that.
Yeah.
What's the art style? Is it like Call of
It's
Duty?
realistic.
It's
Really realistic, actually.
It's very stylish. It's actually kind of like if Scott Pilgrim was a first-person shooter.
It looks like realism.
Yeah.
Like it looks like there's this cosmetic. You can get this cat to sit around on your shoulder. The cat looks like somebody just took a picture of their cat and made it in real life.
Dang.
Like it looks good. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'd want a realistic cat sitting around on my shoulder in a video game, but hey, there it is. There you have it.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to go look up some footage of it, some gameplay.
I'm very surprised how small it is. 17 gigs. Like, and looks very real.
Well, it sounds like they know how to compress files.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like 17 total gigs. You download 7, and then then they unpack and do all that. I did have one more thought on the ad situation before we moved on far enough away from that, because I completely forgot about bringing this part up. So I figured out the solution is just to advertise the things that you're showing off already. Like you're already going to get a bunch of free advertisement. Just maybe after something wins a big award and you need ad space, just throw an ad up for that game.
That's true.
That's a great idea.
Because it's actually things people would care about at that
makes
point.
sense. It's like Dredge nominated for indie game available now.
Well, not only that, how many of those things won awards that I didn't know what the freak it actually was?
Exactly. Yeah.
As soon as something wins, afterwards they show an ad for that. I'm going to go, oh, this is what this is. This is actually kind of cool.
That game Venba, like I didn't know what it was, and then they brought the developer on and said, "This is the game I made."
And then it almost like incentivizes studios to do better with their stuff,
Yeah.
because then if they win, they get more ad space.
Yeah.
And like I'm much more inclined to look up something if I see that it won something or whatever, and it's shoved down on my face all of a sudden. Like, oh, okay.
And maybe they think, why bother? Because we got our name up there. I think being nominated in and of itself is a lot of advertising for these.
No
kinds of
doubt. It
companies.
definitely is. But I don't care enough to look up all of these games.
Yeah.
So if they
fair.
showed me something of it, then that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can move away from the ads, so we can go back to just talking about things in general about it.
What was your guys' favorite parts about the Game Awards? Like Cole, you already mentioned a bunch of reveals that you really liked.
Well, it's interesting. The stuff that I said weren't really reveals. Like the two reveals I actually thought of were the Sega stuff, which is pretty cool. It just seems like they're bringing a bunch of old Sega properties back and rebooting them.
Yeah.
And then the Final Fantasy Apex Legends crossover was pretty interesting because it's the first time Apex ever done a crossover like Fortnite kind of thing.
A legit license crossover.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to be fair, like they did the Post Malone one, but there was never anything that made you look like Post Malone.
What was it? Was it just gun skins?
Character skins and gun skins and stuff, and Post Malone said he liked him or some, I don't freaking know. But they made a new rarity for it called Iconic, which is what these Final Fantasy cosmetics are going to be. But in this one, at least you look like the Final Fantasy things. That's what's cool. They did the anime one a while back that was just off-brand anime skins.
Yeah.
They've done other things like that here and there, but for the most part, nothing.
Yeah, I got
that's kind of cool.
Evangelion skin.
Yeah. So this is the first time they've ever done anything like that, which is really cool.
I think when it comes to specifically like character-based games like that, it's always tough because what if there's a character that you don't like, but he has the coolest skin?
Sure.
It's like, dang, well, there's no transferring skins. And usually they give like popular character a lot of skins, even if you don't like that character. And I
Like-
guess I'm thinking of Overwatch specifically.
Well, Wraith and
Yeah,
Apex
Wraith.
is the one that gets all the skins. Pretty much, anyway. Every single big event, they get a skin.
Just
Um,
like Wraith, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool. I'm excited for that. But other than that, like everything else, the stuff we had already seen, it was just more of what I've already seen. So I would have freaked out if Monolith Soft got up there and been like, "Hey, look, this is our new thing." But like, I think we're a couple years out, maybe 1 or 2 before we see anything from them. They typically like to show their stuff and then release it that same year, is what it looks like.
How involved was Nintendo in the Game Awards? Because I'm wondering if companies that are more involved in the Game Awards get more sucky from Geoff Keighley.
I don't think they had any ads, so probably not very involved in general.
So maybe Geoff Keighley's like, hey, you don't support the show, you don't get awards.
Maybe not. Aonuma was there, though.
Was he?
Yeah.
And Reggie was there too. He was just sitting
Doug
there.
Bowser was there.
Yeah, he accepted a few awards. He accepted Best Family Game for Super Mario Wonder.
And then Aonuma accepted the best action game, I think is what it was
Action Adventure.
for Zelda.
Yeah.
That's cool. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just putting on a tinfoil hat and making conspiracies for Geoff Keighley.
No, I'm there too, dude. I honestly think the Game Awards is literally Jeff being like, I like these games, so I'm gonna let them be the winners.
To be fair, I think all the games that were nominated for the winner, I think they're all very solid video games. Although, not that I've ever played a Spider-Man game, like any of the new 3, but I look at this one and I couldn't tell you the difference between 1 and 2. I think that they're the exact same game.
They look very similar. I played through the first one. It was fun. I'm sure this one's fun too. If you want more Spider-Man, I'm sure it's more
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
But like Baldur's Gate, everybody's been jerking that off since day one. Literally, like, I think that game caused so much controversy with game developing in general. I don't know if you guys followed that or not, but I thought it was such a wild, crazy, fun ride to follow that because so many people, developers specifically, were so mad that everyone was like, this needs to be the new standard for games. And then they're like, that's asking way too much. And people, I don't know, it's just kind of a pissing match.
I agree, though. I'm kind of on the developer side on that point. I think it is asking a little too much. Like, the way the games are pumped out at this point, like, I'd rather have a functional game than a game with a bunch of content in it. I'm much more okay with games that are 6 to 8 hours long, and I'd be completely fine with that.
Right. And a lot of the arguments that the developers were making were totally valid. Also, gamers in general don't know how to develop video games.
Or here's another aspect. Gamers buy games and play for 2 hours anyway. It doesn't matter, It doesn't matter what they're buying.
Yeah.
So we don't need all that extra content. We're only gonna play 2 hours of your game anyway.
Yeah, I heard a lot of very solid arguments in the favor of the developers, and I think I lean more towards that as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, you just can't expect every single game to come out to change the industry. This is not the way it works.
That said, I've never heard one bad thing about Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, right, same.
I don't think I ever heard one bad thing. And, like, I was around people that played it. Like, majority of my buddies played it. As soon as it came out, basically, they were all buying it and playing it together, playing it on their own accounts and stuff, getting mad at each other for save scumming. And it was just, it was a whole thing. And I was just all like, nothing bad about it, ever.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And then Tears of the Kingdom, obviously, I would argue is probably the greatest open world game ever made.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, go ahead. You say something.
No, I was just going to say that, like, I feel like the only reason you hear bad things about Tears of the Kingdom is because it's topical and interesting to say bad things about Tears of the Kingdom.
It gets views.
Yeah.
But the only bad things, really, that I've ever heard people say about Tears is just some of the control layouts as far as trying to maneuver through things. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I would say the user interface isn't the greatest, especially, like, the scroll line.
Yeah.
That should have just been relegated to a favorites wheel.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
when you told me that, I'm like, wow, that's such a genius idea. I don't know why they don't.
And it's been done in other games, so I don't know why they didn't do it.
'Cause especially where, and maybe this is Nintendo saying, hey, we want you to try out more things. Because I'm going to be honest, I did not try fusing everything that I could together. I probably should have, but I found the things that I really liked. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to use those a bunch.
Totally.
And if you could do that to a scroll wheel, that'd be dope. I also wish that you could fuse in your inventory, not have to throw it on the ground and then fuse it.
Yeah. But then you have to have another inventory slot for something, which kind of becomes a mess in its own self.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's tough. That game really would thrive with a mouse and keyboard and having more button inputs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So, what else? Resident Evil 4 Remake. I think that is the greatest Resident Evil game to date. I think it is phenomenal.
Guys, we missed it. We didn't talk about the most important thing to Geoff Keighley. That is bringing Hideo Kojima through a door, literally like have lights and everything in fog, and it's like, here's Hideo Kojima. He's walking through the freaking PT door because he's advertising his new horror game. Not through Sony, through Microsoft this time.
I've got opinions on this. I don't understand why people get so excited about Kojima anymore.
Whoa, you don't understand. Like, there are diehard defenders like, you don't get it. Death Stranding was an amazing game. You don't fucking get it.
I would argue Death Stranding is a very mediocre game, and I don't think Hideo Kojima is as... I don't think he should be as, like, praised as he is in the gaming industry. I think Metal Gear Solid is phenomenal. The 5 hours that I played of it back in the day proved that. I was like, yeah, this is a freaking great game. I'm sure all the other Metal Gear Solid games are pretty good too. That horror game that people loved or the demo for it or whatever.
PT.
Yeah, PT. People really like that. I think he can do some really good stuff. I think it's really weird how they praise him as much as they do. Like, this is like, and I've realized the correlation, and this is not the greatest correlation, but this is the best correlation I could make. People like to praise him like people praise Elon Musk, although I would argue that Hideo Kojima has done more for his industry than Elon Musk did for his stuff, because Elon was more so the business guy with a lot of the PayPal stuff from back in the day. But regardless, like, I don't know. I don't understand the praise behind Kojima. I really don't. I think he could do really cool movies, though. I think he should look into movies instead, because it seems like that's what Death Stranding wanted to be, was a good movie.
Yeah, and this one they advertise like, oh hey, here's that one chick from It, the red-haired one. And there's this one chick from Euphoria, and then there's this German actor, and it's like, wow, you got actors in your horror game coming out.
Should make a movie.
Yeah.
I think it'd do a good movie.
And they don't even show gameplay. They just show like the motion capture thing where it shows all the freckles and like it looks like they're doing just the motion capture. It's like, is this pre-render? It's like, no, this is just them doing motion capture.
He's doing cool stuff for the industry, no doubt about that. He's advanced the industry in a lot of different ways. Like, one of the examples I saw recently was, I think it was Metal Gear Solid 2. There was like this like a bucket of ice with ice inside of the bucket, and like if you shoot the bucket, all of the ice will spread out and fall all over the counter, and you can watch the ice melt in real time. This is a PlayStation 2 game, mind you. An earlier PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah.
So like
Metal Gear Solid 2 is like pushed
insane. Insane.
It pushed it very early for PS2. Like, this is what it could do. It's like, try and catch up.
But imagine his movies. Like, Death Stranding is such an interesting premise. I don't want to play that game. You can't pay me to play that game. I do not. The bit that I played when I was with you guys at one time, and then I played through the intro myself to get some footage once. Holy cow, it's just walking. It's literally just walking. But man, I'd watch that movie. I'd watch that movie in a heartbeat. That seems so cool.
Yeah, it's not that I've played enough about that game to know fully what the sandbox is for traversal, but usually traversal is a very trivial thing in games that gamers don't like to do unless you make it fun. How do you make it fun? Give me something to ride. Give me a four-wheeler. Give me a motorcycle.
And it seems like it takes way too long to get to that stuff, because you do get that stuff in that game for what I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you do.
But you shouldn't have to wait 20 hours to get that stuff.
Yeah, that's rough. I think Kojima, though, not only does he just have a ton of fans for what he has done, but he's also, from what I've seen, pretty funny dude. And I think a lot of people like his personality and his humor.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know enough about his personality to say. I don't know. I still just think it is weird how much they praise him like he's God's gift to gaming. I don't know if I agree with that. I would say like Miyamoto is much more higher up there than that.
The thing is, though, and I think the difference between Miyamoto and Kojima is Kojima interacts with his audience.
Sure.
And
which is rare for Japanese people in general.
And Miyamoto just occasionally gets on the Nintendo Twitter and says he's making a Zelda movie. So
Yeah.
This is Miyamoto.
Miyamoto's on here. Just wanted to let everyone know that I think I'm going to make a Zelda movie.
Here's
It's
Chris
in the
Pratt.
works.
He's so cool.
Oh,
Now,
freak.
I have a feeling that, yeah, Kojima could make movies, but he needs to be like, oh, I'm trying to bridge the gap between video games and movies.
Dude, he'd be that freaking guy that is wanting to do something in a movie and has to create some kind of new tech or some kind of new way to film something to get what he wants.
He's James
Oh,
Cameron.
man. He's like James Cameron.
That's why I think he's held so high
Here's
in the
the
gaming
thing.
community.
We replace it.
I think he'd be
We
better
have-
at movies, though. I really
Yeah.
do.
Here's the thing. We replace it. We have James Cameron do a video game since he's so involved in tech. Then we have Hideo Kojima do a movie.
Oh, like, because like when I think about Kojima games, right? The first, what has he done other than Metal Gear? And was he in charge of Silent Hill or did he just do PT?
No, he just did PT.
Okay, so you think of
There's
Kojima.
another guy who's just as like the creator is like he's made just as much out there stuff as Kojima.
You think of Kojima and you go Metal Gear because
Yeah.
that's about what he's done.
Uh-huh.
And then you go Metal Gear. Oh yeah, that one Metal Gear game that was literally just a movie that you got to walk around occasionally.
I think there was a cutscene that I think the last cutscene's almost 2 hours or something.
And not to say long cutscenes in games are bad. I'm a Xenoblade fan, and I've played many a Xenoblade games where I set the controller down, and after the 15 minutes, my Switch tries to go to sleep on me, and I go, stop, don't do that. But those games are also like 100-hour games and like a bunch of gameplay in there too. And Metal Gear Solid 4, my brother-in-law played it. He remembers, he told me about how he was basically like just watching a movie as well, and that's all you hear from people online, like, dang, dude, it feels like he just wants to make a movie. Why doesn't he just make a movie? I'd watch his movies. I really would. I think they'd be fun. But, man, his game.
Maybe he's got some brewing.
If he's got a movie brewing, I'll watch it. Because, like, for one, another thing, I don't care about horror games. Horror games never have appealed to me. So this new Kojima thing doesn't even do anything for me.
As a guy who's played PT, I'm excited because PT is like probably one of the scariest things ever. It's one of the scariest things ever, and I'm still sad that we did not get a full game out of it. So I would just imagine what would have been.
Yeah.
If Silent Hills is probably one of the saddest cancellations of a video game.
But yeah, so like that would be sweet. Like yeah, I mean, for people like me, just horror games don't really do anything. And then like Metal Gear Solid, like I've always kind of been interested in playing those. I've tried the first one a little bit. I had this one on the PSP back in the day, Portable Ops. That was a game that I played. I don't think he really did much with that game, if I'm being honest. But make a movie, Kojima, please.
And it's definitely like, I've always been in the camp that video game movies / TV shows suck, but it can be done. Naughty Dog has done it.
Yeah. I don't even need it to be a movie based on one of these games. He could just make an entirely fresh concept and I'd be into it.
Right. And I guess what I'm saying is there is correlation that you can tell a good story in a video game.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
in a
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Like, we said it from day one with Last of Us. We're like, this would be a much better movie because the gameplay of Last of Us is very average. Very average. And the TV show was amazing.
Yeah. It's really surprising when you've got things that you just go, oh, yeah, this would actually probably translate better into this medium rather than the medium that it is currently in. I really think Death Stranding would have been a more interesting television show or movie.
Well, it's got such an interesting concept as far as, like, the storytelling goes. But you're not wrong. Like, they took one of the most boring parts of video games and made it into a video game.
I'll throw this out as a nice little conjuncture comparison thing. So PUBG, right? Feels like left field there, doesn't it? PUBG, okay? PUBG is one of the most popular games. This is circa 2019, right? PUBG is super popular. They start losing some popularity to this new hit game called Fortnite. And why? Because Fortnite was faster. So what PUBG does is they shrunk their map in half because walking sucks. And PUBG was literally just walking until you got shot in the head once and you died.
That was a big complaint about the new Battlefield, the broken one. Is everyone's like, well, it takes so long to freaking walk places.
Totally.
Which, walking is not fun. And there's a video by Rasputin. You've probably seen. He talks about traversal. Yeah, it's very trivial to traverse things. Take like a Bethesda. Let's talk about Skyrim for a second, because I think Skyrim does it pretty well. When you first start out, you have to walk places. That's just the name of the game. But every single location you go to and discover new parts of the map, that now becomes a fast travel point.
And it doesn't take a long time to get there either.
Nope. And there's psychology behind it. I can't remember what it is, but it essentially what you do is you take a small circle and you draw a circle, and there's an allotted amount of time within that circle of how long it should take the player to get to the next location. Whether it be big or small, the player always needs to have something to keep them engaged, because walking is boring. So how can you make walking more fun? That's kind of the trick, I guess, with it.
Totally. And maybe somewhere down the line, my mind will be changed on Death Stranding. But as it stands, Death Stranding is a walking simulator, and walking simulators are typically made to be good and make the walking enjoyable. I don't think it's very enjoyable in Death Stranding because, like, it's hyper-realistic walking as well, and, like, all that extra little details. You gotta hold down the triggers to try to make sure you don't freaking wobble and tilt over, like...
Well, and I think they can be done, and maybe this is a bad comparison, but maybe let's just talk about it. Let's just talk this through and see if we can come up with something that is enjoyable. But like Minecraft, for example, how come Minecraft can be a walking simulator, but what makes that so much more interesting than Death Stranding? And what I came up with in my brain is your end goal. Minecraft's, there isn't really an end goal, and everything you do, you can interact with the world, whereas Death Stranding, you're a mailman. Your whole job is to deliver packages. I'm not sure what the world interaction is, but with Minecraft, to me anyway, it seems like there's way more world interaction.
There's sometimes bandits, and they don't put up a fight very much. Like, you can stealth behind them and knock them out, or you can just beat the crap out of them. That's about it.
So the combat's not very fun.
I'm looking up a walking simulator.
And then you pull out a gun,
game.
you just kill, and when you get the gun, you can just mow them all down.
Because from what I gather with Death Stranding, is I think people don't really like the combat, but the walking simulator aspect of it, they try to argue that it's just supposed to be a chill, relaxing game. Is that what it is?
Probably.
I mean, I know the music's really chill.
It's not very chill and relaxing when you're trying to, like, keep your balance.
Yeah, you're running down a hill with backpack stacked to the moon.
Okay. So here's a couple of solid walking simulators. I got two. The first one is the Stanley Parable, right? It's a walking simulator. It's literally what the goal is, just to walk around. Like, you don't really have to think in that game. You just walk into places and stuff happens. That one works because you're not walking very far until something happens.
Right. That goes back to the whole circle thing in my mind. Now,
the next one, I have my opinions on the story. We all know that's not what the discussion is, but it's Soma, right?
Yeah.
Soma is, for all intents and purposes, a walking simulator. You have to solve some things. You have to do some things here and there. But for all intents and purposes, it's you get from point A to point B. And that
you
gameplay...
have to hide from monsters.
Yeah, I mean, but now let's compare that directly to Death Stranding, okay? It's point A to point B. Occasionally you hide from monsters in both games. And I guess in Death Stranding, and I don't remember in Soma if you fight them, but in Death Stranding, I think you can fight them occasionally.
You have to fight them. Like, it says, hey, in order to progress, you have to kill this ink shark.
Yeah.
Or I guess, I don't know if you can, but you can kill them. They're not that hard.
In Soma, was there any that you fight? I don't remember if there's anything you fight.
No, you don't fight anything.
It's just hiding from them.
Yeah.
Okay. So that one aspect, so there's a couple aspects behind this. In Soma, where you're hiding from them, that's one new thing. You can't just brute force your way through this encounter. In Death Stranding, sometimes you can if you want to. You don't always have to. And, like, the choice is cool, but it kind of just makes it so, it's just another encounter. Like when you're playing Call of Duty or campaigns, it's like, there's some more bad guys to shoot,
Mm-hmm.
It almost becomes that. And I would argue that while Death Stranding looks better graphically, I would say, art style even included, than Soma, I would say Soma's world is far more interesting than Death Stranding's world. Now, Death Stranding's lore is probably pretty interesting too, but the world, just from looking at it, I think Death Stranding's look of the world, which is what you see when you move around, isn't that exciting. Because it's, and granted, when we played, we only ever saw the green area, the green and rock area. And that's all it was. For however many hours that we played of that, and then it was just green and
Probably
rocks.
8 to 10 hours.
8 to 10 hours of
So
just green and rocks.
It's not like we didn't give it a good go.
No. Exactly. And Soma, even in that's another thing, is the length as well. In Soma, the 8 to 10 hours, you saw so much more stuff. 8 to 10 hours of Death Stranding, it's just green and rock. Like I said, incredibly pretty. Very, very gorgeous. That game was probably one of the best looking games I've seen in a very long time. But that's all it was just pretty. And the world was just the world that you have to walk. There's nothing to like, there's a cool cave to run, like in Tears of the Kingdom. There's no like, dang, I discovered this new area that I leveled up my character or whatever. There's no video game-ness to it. It's just
A mailman.
It's just a mailman.
But see, that's what I go back to. Let's compare it to.
Also, this is the vanilla version we played. They were later released a director's cut, which apparently addressed some of the problems. But I think you still have to walk around.
I think it's too late at that point.
It's too late. They missed it.
Yeah.
They missed their chance.
But going back to like Minecraft versus Death Stranding is I think that it's the core gameplay, I guess, or it's your goal that you're trying to do. Like in Minecraft, you don't really have one, but everywhere you go, like you're saying, cave, ooh, I can climb that mountain.
Something catches your
What's this?
eye.
There's always something to interact with. Whereas Death Stranding, it's like you're just a mailman. You need to get from point A to point B. Why bother doing anything else? Because this is your objective.
There's even if you were looking for other stuff on the road, it doesn't really affect you because you're on your current mission for right now, which is that. Once again, though, and I'm not trying to just dump on Death Stranding because I really do think the lore, the world, the story is really fascinating. The gameplay, though, that's where it doesn't get me. And I got this, there's this classic Reggie quote. If the game's not fun, why bother? I'm going to go back and play Animal Crossing.
I completely agree with you, and I think that you and I have shared the same opinion, and I'm sure, Thane, that you share the same opinion with us as well as is on Death Stranding. I remember day one we played it. Like, my favorite part was watching the cutscenes and then watch Thane fall down hills and watch his goofy guy be a goofy little gamer.
But then you have to watch him for 30 minutes pick up all the stuff that he dropped, and it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah. And I guess going back to talking about the traversal in Death Stranding, and quote me if I'm wrong, Thane, but I'm pretty sure that everything that you set up in the world, you can always go back and use. Like if you leave ladders or zip lines.
Here's an even better thing. Any players, it's connected line, so any players that leave stuff around, it'll say, hey, this player left that there. And sometimes there'll just be a whole ass road and be like, oh, sweet, I could drive over this.
That's really cool.
That's the best part about the game is
know.
the connect. Like Kojima's trying to say, hey, we're trying to connect it to make the world we're all trying to be connected together. We're trying to bridge.
That's not nothing. That's something we never did anyway. You know?
Yeah,
Was that released after the game, or did we just never?
No,
connect on that?
there were a few things I found.
Okay.
Yeah,
And see, that's another example of Kojima doing something cool. But it seems like all of the cool stuff he does is like a lot of more effort or just something that doesn't end up actually happening for one reason or another. Maybe if we played the game now, we'd see a lot more stuff in the world as a result.
I'm sure.
Playing it as early as we didn't get to see that much stuff. So that cool aspect of it doesn't really apply for when we tried to play it.
Sure, yeah.
As cool as that bucket of ice in Metal Gear Solid 2 is, how much time do you think somebody spent on that? A whole day's worth of work to do that, maybe? That's not necessary. We don't need that.
Well, sure, yeah. And to kind of piggyback off of that thought, I remember watching this interview with the developers of Final Fantasy. I think it's 50. What's the MMO one? 15?
14.
14?
It's also 11, but I guess it's
What's
14.
the popular one right now? 14?
14.
Yeah.
So one of the developers was talking about how they had so many polygons in a plant.
Yep.
And he was like, why is our game bad? And then he realized, wow, we're spending so much time making this plant instead of making a good video game.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Allocating your time to doing the things that make the game better is just so much more worth it. Sure, you can go cool polish stuff later on, like put a bucket of ice in there.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'd be really cool. If we get an entire game that's literally all of that and the game is good, that's what I'm down
That's
for.
Baldur's Gate.
Apparently that's what Baldur's Gate 3 is. And so
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, okay, cool. And then we get to the point where we loop back to that other conversation we had where that's too much sometimes, and developers
Right.
can't always
Right.
do that.
Well, and here's the thing, too, though, is let's take Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, for example.
Yeah.
The game looks like poopy.
Yeah,
It
poopy.
doesn't run great.
No, poopy.
But when gamers play it, they still have fun. Why? Because Pokemon's gameplay loop is incredible.
Yes.
It's fun. You can enjoy things that look gross and still have fun.
And we're talking gross.
Yeah, it's
Like,
bad.
actually,
Yeah.
it looks like a dumpy on the
Yeah,
screen.
getting 25 frames, 20 frames sometimes.
5 frames.
5 frames sometimes.
What are you talking about, 20? I would kill for 20.
And I'm not saying that developers should make garbage games. That's not what we're saying.
No.
What we're saying is
No.
that good gameplay outweighs a lot of some of the other things. Like, gamers are able to look past that.
It's really interesting for me because I like stories, like one of my number one things when it comes to video games. I love story, and bad gameplay can sometimes, or good story and bad gameplay is kind of okay for me for the most part.
Last of Us.
Last of Us, and I wouldn't say The Last of Us is terrible, obviously, but it's not my favorite kind of gameplay. Heck, even Resident Evil 4, like. I don't love the gameplay that I'm playing. I'm playing through Resident Evil 4, by the way. I don't love the gameplay that much. It's fine. It feels better than The Last of Us, but the story's more intriguing in my mind. Even though the story's kind of funny, you know, it's got that whole Resident Evilness to it. Regardless, I'm more invested in the story and to see what's going to happen as well. But sometimes the gameplay's really not fun, and even if the story's interesting, I still can't do it.
Well, that's when you
man,
can
I'm
just get
total
onto
opposite.
YouTube.
Sometimes I just like, sometimes when there's someone talking during a cutscene, maybe I'll have a YouTube video up. It's like, huh, what did you say? Never
No
mind.
way, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's too much stimulation
Don't tell me.
in
Don't
my
tell me.
brain.
Do you skip cutscenes?
No, I don't.
Oh,
Sometimes I'll pause the video, skip cutscenes, kind of understand what's going on. But then when someone's talking, it won't process it since I'm playing a game. And I'm just focused on the game. For me, it's always gameplay first. You could have like the most incoherent, like garbage story, Kingdom Hearts 2, but the game, like that's probably some of the best action RPG combat is Kingdom Hearts 2. Like I stopped trying to understand the story a long time ago. In Kingdom Hearts 3, like I played all the games previous, still have no idea what they're trying to do with the story. And the problem with Kingdom Hearts 3 is that the gameplay was nowhere near as good as Kingdom Hearts 2. And it's like, yeah, it was not a very good game because the gameplay, like, I knew what going in, the story was going to be awful.
yeah. Every now and then, I'll play a game because the gameplay's that good, and I don't care about the story. Like, for example, Doom 2016.
Yeah.
Like, the story's not terrible in Doom 2016, but let's be honest. We're not playing it for that. We're playing it because it's a fun game to play.
Yeah.
But most of these gameplay-driven games that I play because they're fun to play, not because of the story, are typically relegated to multiplayer games with my friends.
Yeah.
Like Apex, Warzone, Overwatch. A lot of these games do have lore. Surprisingly, Call of Duty Warzone does have an in-depth lore. Do I care? Absolutely not. But it's fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun, you know? It's gaming.
Like Armored Core. Like,
Armored Core.
Yeah, Armored Core, like, I can't tell you the full story. I'm kind of lost because most characters don't have faces to associate with them. They only have a symbol. And yet, like, I don't care. Like, okay, I don't care. I'm just going to kill these guys. Like, oh, you're in my way. Boom, I'll just kill you. That's my whole game. That's my modus operandi. I'm just going to kill you if you're in my way.
That's every Dark Souls game
Yeah.
ever made. I mean, there's very rich, in-depth lore. You have to go dig.
Maybe that's another reason I could never get into Dark Souls, because they literally just drop you into the world and say, all right, have fun. They don't really tell you anything at the beginning, like a opening cutscene or anything.
Dark
really.
Souls has an opening cutscene.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
I guess I've only tried
1.
Bloodborne and Elden Ring. There was never really like, here's the story of why this world is the way it is that you're in. There was never anything like that.
Elden Ring kind of does, but it's just like, here's a bunch of people important. You'll learn later why they're important.
Yeah, it didn't do it for me. And then it was hard, and I said nope.
See, and I think to wrap up this whole conversation is, I think you can have both. I think you can have good gameplay and a bad story and enjoy it. I think you can have all right gameplay and a great story and enjoy it. But when you get both, like you already said, that's when you find something special.
If you get both, that means you just found some of your favorite games.
Right.
Totally.
But I'm thinking about some of my favorite games. Halo. I think Halo 1 specifically. The gameplay is incredible. The story was almost an afterthought, especially if you go listen to the developers talk about it. They're like, oh, yeah, we just threw something together for this little bit. We had to cut this part out because it didn't really make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But the gameplay's so good. Basically any Zelda game. Sure, you can argue that there's deep story when you go digging and dive into it, but on the surface, green guy saves a princess, and it's really fun. Mario doesn't have a story. Mario's really fun.
Red guy saves a princess.
Red guy saves a princess. But then you play something like Xenoblade Chronicles, and you're like, wow, this gameplay is so good, and then the story is so good. You got a banger. They don't happen very often, but you can find a banger.
They turn into a horse.
We could wrap it up, too, though. We're almost out of time. So we talked about...
Okami's my favorite game, and I really like its story. I think it's a fun story.
The gameplay is good, too, from what I could tell.
Yeah.
I never played it, but it looks cool.
No one's ever tried to do the brush thing ever again because it's so unique. It's like it's so unique
Epic
to
Mickey
that game.
try to do it?
No, not even close.
Oh.
Not even freaking close.
With the Wiimote.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk's got both good story and gameplay, in my opinion.
You can erase things and then draw things back, but it's like freaking you can make shapes with Okami. No one's ever done that ever again. And I don't know if you ever really can because it's so unique to that game. It makes you kind of forget it's a Zelda clone.
So anyway, going back to, we talked about Tears, Baldur's Gate, Resident Evil. What else got nominated?
Spider-Man, we talked about that a little bit.
That. Did Mario Bros. Wonder get nominated?
Yeah, it did. I would have been very surprised if that won.
I think people would have been mad.
I think people would have been very mad because people hate Nintendo.
Yeah.
There's still a rabid group of people that literally just like the moment Nintendo gets brought up, they get pissy.
They just think Nintendo's for babies.
I had a buddy that I worked with.
Man, children.
And like anytime I brought up Nintendo, I'd be like, I don't care. Like it's probably not good. It's Nintendo.
Does he only play FIFA and Call of Duty?
Not FIFA, but Call of Duty's up there.
And NBA or NFL, Madden.
There was
other things.
Back in the day when the Wii came out, there's so many people where it's like it's just a child's console. Nobody cares about the Wii. When I had
how many consoles did the Wii sell?
It sold more than the 360 and PS3 because it was oriented towards family. That's it, and that it actually did have some solid games on there. If you looked, not just Nintendo, there were a few. Like I like No More Heroes. I thought No More Heroes was good. Red Steel 2 people liked. I'd have to look up.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the Wii.
That was good according to people.
Xenoblade dropped on the Wii.
Yeah, it did. I wasn't gonna say it.
Several Zelda games on the Wii.
I said outside Nintendo, but not even every Nintendo
third developer or third party.
Yeah,
developers?
third party developers.
I guess Monolith was owned by Nintendo at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't have a Wii growing up, so I'm out of the conversation. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you had a 360 like all the cool kids.
Yeah. I had a GameCube.
Nerd.
Oh,
so you did have a Wii. Okay.
Yeah, I did have a Wii. You're right. Just without the motion controls. Honestly, though, I think one of the coolest parts about the thing was the Sega reveal. I want to finish on the Sega reveal because I think we're done with the game of the year. I don't know what else is nominated, but clearly we don't care enough. Oh, Alan Wake 2. That was the other
Alan Wake
nominee.
2.
Yeah.
I'd like to play Alan Wake someday.
Alan Wake 2, like it won a lot of awards.
Yeah.
It just
And it
just
dropped-
didn't
what did it
get
drop
that game
last
of the
month?
year.
October.
October.
That's crazy.
2
months ago.
What was
It
I
won
saying?
best or
Sega.
art direction and best game
Sega.
direction.
Sega. So the Sega reveal, that was really, really hype because they're showing off these people and like they're playing a game. All of a sudden you hear Sonic noises coming from the TV, like the rings and stuff. I'm like, oh shoot, they're playing Sonic. That's kind of cool.
Playing Sonic, whatever the one.
It was like a Genesis one, I believe, because like the ring sounds were from the Genesis. I think. I could be wrong.
I was there saying they're probably playing Sonic Superstars or something. The new
Oh.
one that came out.
Oh yeah. And then like it starts panning around the room, and you see like little references to previous like old school Sega games. Like there's like a license plate that said Crazy Taxi on it. There's like the helmet that the Golden Axe guy wears.
Gilly's Thunderhead.
There was some other stuff too. I don't quite remember all of the little references in the room.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, they're like start dropping like footage of all these different games and all these crazy unique art
All
styles.
Very unique.
Oh, so unique.
Yeah.
Every one of them looked like entirely new things, entirely different things. Very, very cool. I'm totally into it. So
Yeah.
into it.
Are they like remakes or ports or?
They just look
Reboots,
like
I would
full
say.
reboots.
I would say
Oh,
every single one of these things looks like a reboot.
that's dope.
Well, have you seen that little
No, I
trailer?
need to go look it
we'll,
up.
We'll show you it after. But like, man, Jet Set Radio looks really freaking good. I feel bad for the company that made that other game that's kind of like Jet Set Radio.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that one.
That made it. They made it their money. Don't worry.
Okay, good. I just felt a little bad because all of a sudden they dropped this, and now all the
Honestly,
hype's on this now.
I'm gonna be honest. If that developer said, "Hey, we got an idea for Jet Set Radio," Sega would have said, "Make it," because they've
They
done that for
could've,
several
yeah.
indie games.
And then
That's how Street Rage 4 was made.
the Golden Axe game, that's a Skylar game. The way that
Yeah, it
looked,
looked-
that's a million
It's
percent.
like, hey, it looks like Gauntlet.
It looks
but
like Gauntlet, but a
Golden
third
Axe.
person like action game.
Let's go.
And I'm just like, that's effing Skylar right there. And then I
Yeah, it's effing me right here. I pulled my pants down.
they showed Shinobi, I think was like this side scroller
It's a 2D side scroller
with like
game.
really beautiful art
Yeah,
style.
yeah.
And they show Crazy Taxi and it looks like freaking
You
GTA
can play
for
as
a bit.
cops.
So
I
Sega's like, hey guys, we've been brewing.
We're not
We've
just
been cooking.
we're not just the Sonic and Yakuza studio.
I'm quite excited for a lot of this. Is granted, I was a freaking Sega fan growing up. I was a Sega kid, Dreamcast, Genesis. So all of these are just like my heart. I'm freaking uncle from another world, just freaking loving life right here.
How many boomers, not boomers, how many zoomers are like, more Fortnite? No Sega, Fortnite.
Show us more Fortnite advertisements. And thank you guys for making it to the end of the episode. If you have, please quickly listen to this ad that we have for our sponsor. It's Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play
Use
the
code-
Battle
use
Royale.
code
play,
Fortnite.
play the Legos.
New Lego mode and new racer mode.
Oh, real talk though, that racer actually looks really fun. Fortnite racing game
Yeah.
could be fun. Thank
It's
you
got
guys.
the rocket. It's literally got the Rocket
Got
League
the
cars.
Rocket League cars in it.
Jump like that.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us why we're wrong about our opinions. We love to hear why we're wrong
I
about
can't
our
wait for the
opinions.
Kojima fanboys to come in and try to spit roast us.
I feel like my opinions on Kojima are sound opinions, but that's what they are. They're opinions. So tell me why they're wrong. Thank you guys. Have a great one. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.